Hello everyone, how are you? How are you all today? You seem to have the boxy blues, sweetheart, if you're Diddy. I want to share something with you all. Diddy is being told by Judge Aaron, who is also kind of funny. You want to sit here and put on the theatrics and fake the funk? You know what? Diddy's preferred jail was denied by Judge Aaron. We need to discuss it, baby, because, well, the judge said no. Now, allow me to briefly introduce the prison. What's astonishing is that the prosecution stated, "We don't care if he goes to Fort Dix." But Judge Aaron remarked, "You know what? Yes, I do." Additionally, some speculate that Diddy might be trembling in his boots because he believed Fort Dix would protect him. In Fort Dix, he had individuals who would ensure his safety. In Fort Dix, he had contacts. He will now be sent to a jail in the New York City area. Don't get me wrong, but some individuals claim that it will make life in that prison intolerable. Yes, exactly. Inhumane. Now, let's get started. Okay, to begin with, Judge Aaron asked directly, did he not? What was said by Cat Williams? That ninja must be told no. Why then did he refuse him? It's very close to his chest, you know, and Judge Aaron is keeping that close to his chest. Nevertheless, they stated that they had approved a memo. Judge Samaria stated that he would only suggest the New York City region and asked if another geography would like to propose it by October 10th. Listen, I always found it strange that he was even asking to be imprisoned in the vicinity of New York City. It was to be closer, he added, to relatives. You should go see your mother, who lives in Florida. For what you mentioned, you were pleading to go. Your children reside in your Miami or Florida mansions. To the best of my knowledge, one of your daughters either resides in or attends school in New York. Additionally, there may be a son who resides in New York. Apart from that, however, what connections do you have in the New York region? Let me tell you about his connections in the New York region. Recall Diddy's claims that he brought together the Bloods, Crips, Trenianos, Jamaica Post, and other groups. All right. But he claimed in the court statement that he had been attacked and was afraid for his life. This gives you the impression that they are not sitting there holding hands and saying, yes, go. Has he left? And it gives you the impression that he is struggling more than he appears to be in prison. We might be interested in seeing it. Perhaps that is the location of punishment. All right. I was always curious as to why he would wish to return. I believe he has contacts. I believe they are able to ensure safety. Judge Aaron, I believe, said the same fucking thing. And he answered no, too. He disputed it. They have till October 10th, he added. You can choose another American geography. But you won't be able to enter Fort Dix. What would make him want to enter Fort Dix now? Well, for additional reasons. All right, because this is the problem. When you go and you're the best, all right, there is no greatest or worst. All right, so there is a best and a worst. However, when you go to Facebook sites that convicts are on or individuals who know inmates, they say that he may be in roughly 6 jails for a 4-year term. All right, the Otisville camp is there. If he is, that one is calm and eligible. It has very few limitations. All right, it has minimum security. Many of the individuals there are low-risk and nonviolent offenders. All right? Their rate of violence is really low. And here's the thing. There aren't many people living in dorms. In addition to offering religious services and delicious food, the place is quite peaceful. In actuality, it is the most comfortable and safest. All right? However, if you believe the reports, this is what these first-choice individuals are saying. All right? The capacity is quite limited, that's all. Everyone wants to visit, but in order to do so, what must you do? You have to be a non-violent, low-risk criminal. He may not pose a threat, but he is definitely not aggressive. That was thus removed from the list. That's why he visited Fort Dix, isn't it? That's a minimum cap and low security as well. That is for non-violent offenders who commit fraud, finance, and narcotics offenses. Non-violent drug offenders once more. It does not require you to abstain from all forms of violence. It simply cannot be a medicine that causes violence, can it? It is far safer than the MDC while having low to moderate levels of violence. There are outdoor activities, dorm-style living, and an open campus. You move well and have a lot of freedom. Did he actually investigate the jail he believed he could be sent to? Many people. It's the ideal combination of comfort, accessibility, and safety close to New York City. It's good and it's only 90 minutes from the city. I believe Diddy wanted to remain in New York in order to ensure his safety while incarcerated. Although I doubt anyone will attempt to extort Diddy while he is incarcerated, why wouldn't they try to do so if there are He's worth $1 million. Doesn't he have the funds to make the payment? Do you see what I mean? They say things like that happen in jail, but I doubt the jail will permit that to occur. Here's the problem though. Otisville is another jail in the New York City region. All right? Otisville jail is classified as medium security. Its mix is more expansive. It's for those with longer sentences and is considered low to medium risk. Well, if I'm going to be in here 5, if I'm going to be here 10 to 20 years. Like, if I slap you, I'll get another year, I said, implying that people had less to lose when given lengthy terms. Well, anything. I'll attach it to the end. Despite its reputation for mild violence, it is nevertheless significantly less chaotic than the MDC. Diddy most likely doesn't want to go there because it has. There are cells, more limitations, and fewer programs. All right? Like Fort Dix, it is an hour and a half from New York City. It's not as free as Fort Dix, but it's still decent. They claim that Fort Dix offers the highest standard of living. People call it something like a club fed because it is so incredibly plush. There is already a low-security facility in Danbury, Connecticut called FCI Danbury. However, it is exclusively for women. They stopped allowing men in, I believe. The FCI Raybrook is another. Medium security is that. The population is diverse. Diddy? Well, the risk is higher. It follows typical medium security procedures and features moderate levels of violence. The climate there is colder. The number of permitted visits is reduced. 5 hours have passed. Not permitted, but you may say given that it's 5 hours from New York City, you'll likely receive a lot fewer visits. Although it is very extremely cold and distant, it is tidy. Of course, there's the MDC Brooklyn, but I don't think they'll let Diddy stay there now that he's been convicted. He's definitely going to have to leave. You guys, you listen, Diddy ultimately wanted an open campus-style property in New York that was safe and had less violence. So once more, there are no sales. One of the few federal prisons without customary sales is Fort Dix. Inmates have greater mobility in open dorms or cubicle-style housing. It's easier on the body and mind. It's more like military brackets than being incarcerated. Once more, he should receive additional family visits. New York City is about 90 minutes away. That once more makes it possible for the family. Once more, though, I'm not sure how many relatives he has in the New York City region. And as I mentioned earlier, they typically relocate you within 500 miles of your family. Get this, their programs are superior to those offered by Sentence Credit. Programs like Fort Dix's Education, Job Training, and First Step Act can cut down on actual time spent behind bars. Fort Dix is preferred over detention facilities by inmates who want to maintain their activity level or obtain early release credits, which don't have many programs. And here's another prisoner repute. Fort Dix is regarded in federal circles as one of the better low-security options in the Northeast. Livable and not particularly opulent. Informally, some people describe it as a camp-style experience in contrast to more severe institutions. It is regarded as a location where you may serve your time in peace and quiet without having to deal with daily lockdowns or violence. And I understand that sometimes, and this is where I believe Diddy's strategy lies. Prisoners ask to be housed in a facility because they know people who are already there, particularly if they anticipate receiving help, share a common heritage, or a sense of security. However, because Fort Dix has a huge population, these linkages are rather prevalent. Favoritism is not the issue. It has to do with safety and familiarity. You all pay attention. Diddy believed him to be cunning. No, answered Judge Aaron. I mean, let me just say this. Am I let down? I want to express this quickly. Am I dissatisfied with the penalty Judge Aaron imposed on him? Not at all. Would I like it to be longer? Of course. Judge Aaron, however, is a man of the law and is aware that whatever he did may be overruled. Although he has the right to appeal, he essentially earned that Diddy-o punishment. He even performed 10 months below the pre-sentencing assessment, which is the true lowest. Thus, an appeal will not be allowed. All right? In any case, did he face the judge? Please, 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 he pleaded, addressing Aaron's court. I'll follow the court's instructions. All I want is to get home. Judge Aaron had a lot more time to spare. He could have granted him a lot more time, but again, it would have been a major battle before the appeals court. He received mercy from Judge Aaron. In response, Diddy's attorneys went outside the courthouse and sneered, claiming that the judge was the 13th juror. This is a monstrosity. How dare you? We now have a Diddy. Despite the prosecution's assertion that the youngster is free to visit Fort Dix if he so chooses. No, the judge says. You have until October 10th to provide me with another U.S. geography assignment. And I'll put you in another jail in New York City if you don't. However, I'll say it again. You are not going to Club Fed, Fort Dix, or whatever else you're doing, sweetheart. You're going to. I understand Diddy's concerns because individuals of this caliber do have to worry about being bullied, extorted, and treated like shit. Once more. Once more. Once more, yes, darling, I don't believe Diddy anticipated this. This is the worst situation possible. That day, you can't count on staying. A group of fools. A special thanks to Chaos for recording that term forever. Diddy and his friends believed that Diddy would be free if they simply went outdoors. Do you recall that party outside the courthouse? Yes, Diddy is still incarcerated today. He will be seated in a very aggressive manner. In any case, please share your thoughts in the comments section. I'll update you all. We'll talk later. Goodbye. Talk later. Goodbye.